Few breeds divide enthusiasts quite like the Doberman Pinscher. Ask a European breeder and an American breeder to describe the ideal Doberman, and you may wonder if they're talking about the same dog. In many respects, they aren't. Though both lines descend from Carl Friedrich Louis Dobermann's original creation in the 1870s Germany, a tax collector's vision of the ultimate personal protection dog, forged from crossing breeds such as the German Pinscher and Weimaraner, over a century of separate breeding philosophy has produced two distinct animals. The moment the breed arrived in America in the early 1900s, different pressures began pulling it in a different direction. Today we're putting both lines side by side and examining exactly what separates them. The European Doberman is governed by the FCY, the Fédération Cynologique Internationale, which recognizes the breed standard set by the IDC, the International Doberman Club, based in Germany. This standard explicitly and unapologetically ties the breed to its working origins. A European Doberman must not only look correct, it must prove itself capable of work. IPO and IGP trials, testing, tracking, obedience, and protection, are a central part of European breeding culture. Dogs that cannot perform are not considered worthy of reproducing, regardless of how good they look on a show lead. Temperament testing is built into the culture at every level. The American Doberman Pinscher is governed by the American Kennel Club, whose standard has evolved progressively toward conformation, showing, and companion suitability. The emphasis is on elegance, proportion, and a temperament appropriate for family life. Working titles are neither required nor prioritized by the standard or the show community. Over decades, this created a fundamentally different selection pressure, and the dogs produced under each system reflect that divergence entirely. 2 dogs, 1 name, 2 philosophies. Physically, the European Doberman is the heavier, more powerful animal. Males typically weigh 40 to 50 kilograms and stand 68 to 72 centimeters at the shoulder. The build is muscular and substantial, broad chest, thick neck, heavy bone structure throughout. This is a dog that looks like it was designed to absorb impact and keep functioning. The FCI standard calls for a medium-sized, strong, muscular dog with substance and endurance prioritized alongside appearance. Females are similarly well-built, typically ranging from 32 to 35 kilograms. The American Doberman Pinscher is leaner and considerably more refined in its silhouette. Males typically weigh 34 to 41 kilograms, with a narrower, more sculpted frame. The AKC standard prizes elegance, describing a compactly built, muscular and powerful dog, but one whose beauty lies in clean lines, balance, and proportion rather than raw mass. The head is more chiseled and angular, the neck longer and more arched, the top line sleeker, the overall impression more artistic than athletic. Many experienced breeders describe the American Doberman as looking like it was designed by a sculptor, while the European was designed by an engineer. The breed come in the 4 accepted colors: black and rust, red and rust, blue and rust, and the rarer fawn, also known as Isabella. It must be noted that the Europeans generally only come in the black and rust colorings. In the United States, cropped ears and docked tails remain legal, common, and preferred in the AKC show ring, the look most people associate with the breed. In Europe, cropping and docking are banned across most countries, including the UK, Germany, and most of the EU. The European Doberman you are most likely to encounter today carries natural rose ears and a full sweeping tail. A dramatically softer and, to many eyes, surprisingly elegant appearance that takes some adjustment if you grew up picturing the cropped American look. This is where the two lines diverge most significantly in any practical sense, and where getting it wrong has the most serious consequences. The European Doberman is bred for drive. The FCY standard demands a dog that is confident, alert, and possessed of a strong, controllable, protective instinct. European breeders select heavily for what they call hardness, the capacity to absorb pressure without shutting down, recover quickly from stress, and engage without hesitation when a genuine threat demands it. These dogs are naturally reserved with strangers, intensely bonded to their primary handler, and carry a constant low-level alertness that never entirely switches off. A well-bred European Doberman is not unstable or aggressive. In fact, stable nerves are specifically selected for. But it is a serious animal with serious instincts, and it reads people and situations with an accuracy that can be unnerving until you understand it. The AKC standard describes a dog of energetic and fearless character, but equally emphasizes that it must be obedient and loyal, with a friendly, calm disposition suited to a range of environments. American lines have been deliberately selected away from sharp working drives across many generations of show breeding. The result is a dog that is warmer with strangers, socially more flexible, far more forgiving of handling inconsistencies, and considerably easier to live with in a busy household. Many American Dobermans are deeply affectionate, almost aggressively so, seeking physical contact with family members and forming broad bonds across multiple people rather than locking onto a single handler. Neither temperament is a flaw. They were bred for different roles, and they serve those roles well. But a person who purchases a European Doberman expecting the warmth and social ease of an American line is in for a genuinely significant surprise. The European Doberman is at its core a working dog that can be a pet, not the other way around. It demands structured activity, ideally within a formal discipline such as IGP, Schutzhund, search and rescue, personal protection, or competitive ring sport. It needs a handler who can match its intelligence, provide clear boundaries, and offer genuine leadership rather than simply affection. Experienced owners describe the relationship as the most intense and rewarding they have ever had with a dog. Inexperienced owners, without proper guidance, can find themselves with a powerful, frustrated animal making its own decisions, which is never ideal. The American Doberman Pinscher is the more accessible companion. It still requires consistent training, regular vigorous exercise, and meaningful mental engagement. It is far too intelligent to be left to its own devices without consequences. But it adapts more readily to family routines, handles inconsistency better, and suits a wider range of owners and living situations. For someone who wants the Doberman's striking presence, deep loyalty, and sharp intelligence without the demands of a working line animal, the American is the natural and sensible choice. Both lines carry the same hereditary shadows, and any prospective owner must understand them clearly before committing. Dilated cardiomyopathy, DCM, is the breed's most devastating health issue, present in both lines but documented at particularly high rates across the breed as a whole, with some studies suggesting prevalence approaching 58 to 60% over a lifetime. The disease progresses silently. Many dogs show no outward symptoms until it is critically advanced. Regular cardiac screening, annual Holter monitoring to detect arrhythmias, combined with echocardiograms, is non-negotiable for any Doberman owner regardless of line. DCM is the primary cause of premature death in the breed worldwide, and it claims dogs that appear entirely healthy. Von Willebrand's disease, a hereditary clotting disorder, is present in both lines and should be screened by any responsible breeder. Wobbler syndrome, cervical vertebral instability causing progressive neurological deterioration, is associated with the breed's long neck and rapid early growth and affects both lines. Hypothyroidism and hip dysplasia round out the common concerns. The American line's lighter frame may reduce cumulative joint stress over a lifetime, but on cardiac health specifically, neither line holds a meaningful advantage. Average lifespan for both runs 10 to 13 years, frequently shortened by heart disease in dogs who might otherwise have gone longer. The honest answer requires genuine self-reflection. The European Doberman will expose every gap in your experience, your consistency, and your commitment. It is not a dog you can simply own. It is a dog you must rise to meet. Those who do are rewarded with a level of partnership, responsiveness, and raw capability that very few breeds in the world can match. It is simply not suitable for the casual or first-time owner, regardless of their enthusiasm or love of dogs. The American Doberman Pinscher is one of the finest companion animals in the canine world. Beautiful, loyal, sensitive, and profoundly bonded to its family. It asks for less than its European counterpart and still gives back an extraordinary amount. For the majority of households, it is not a compromise. It is simply the right Doberman. What both share, absolutely and without question, is an intelligence that will embarrass you if you underestimate it. A loyalty that will genuinely move you, and a presence that changes the energy of every room they walk into. The Doberman, in either form, simply does not do ordinary. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and suggest any ideas for future videos on your favorite dogs. See you soon!